Welcome back to P-Tech channel. Today we are doing engine removal and the overall procedures. And then why you remove the engine. Engine removal can be done only if the engine has been long neglected. And then you experience high fuel consumption, loss of power, rough running, knocking of the and noises of the engine, excessive valve gear noises, all of these present at the same time. So that's why we do the engine removal and then we do an overall procedures. Excessive oil consumption is an indication that the piston rings, valve seals and valve guides are in need of attention. Make sure that oil leaks are not responsible before deciding that the rings and guides are worn. Perform a compression test as described previously to determine the likely cause of the problem, but note that introducing oil into cylinder is not an effective test for diesel engines. Check the oil pressure with a gauge fitted in place on the oil pressure switch and compare it with that specified. If it is extremely low, the main and the big end bearings and the oil pump are probably worn out. Loss of power, rough running, knocking, and the metallic engine noises, excessive valve gear noise, and the high fuel consumption may also point to the need for an overhaul, especially if they are all present at the same time. If a complete service does not remedy the situation, major mechanical work is the only solution. A full engine overhaul involves restoring all internal parts to the specification of a new engine. During a complete overhaul, the piston and the piston rings are removed and the cylinder bores are reconditioned. New main and big end bearings are generally fitted if necessary. The crankshaft may be reground to compensate for wear in the journals. The valves are also serviced as well, since they are usually less than perfect condition at that point. Always pay careful attention to the condition of the oil pump when overhauling the engine and renew it. If there is any doubt as to its serviceability, the end result should be an new engine that will give many travel-free miles. Critical cooling systems components such as the hoses, thermostat, and water pump should be renewed when an engine is overhauled. The radiator should be checked carefully to ensure that it is not locked or leaking. Also, it is a good idea to renew the oil pump whenever the engine is overhauled. Before beginning the engine overhaul, read through the entire procedure to familiarize yourself with the scope and requirements of the job. Overhauling the engine is not difficult if you follow carefully all of the instructions, have the necessary tools and equipment, and pay close attention to all specifications. It can, however, be time consuming. Plan on the car being off the road for a minimum of 2 weeks, especially if the parts must be taken to an engineering works for repair or reconditioning. Check on the availability of parts and make sure that any necessary special tools and equipment are obtained in advance. Most work can be done with typical hand tools, although a number of precision measuring tools are required for inspecting parts to determine if they are or if they must be renewed. Often the engineering work will handle the inspection of parts and after advice concerning reconditioning and renewal. Also wait until the engine has been completely dismantled and until all components, especially the cylinder block or crankcase and the crankshaft have been inspected before deciding what service and repair operation must be performed by an engineer works. To ensure maximum life and minimum trouble from reconditioned engine, everything must be assembled with care in a spotlessly clean environment. Then for this case, engine removal, you must look for safety. Safety is the primary importance, considering the potential hazard involved in lifting the engine or transmission out of the car. In addition to an engine hoist, is as follows: as you do a heavy duty trolley check, then you complete the set of spanner and sockets, tools and working facilities like wooden blocks, plenty of racks and cleaning solvents for mopping up spilled oil, coolant and fuel. If the hoist must be hired, make sure that you arrange for it in advance. Always be extremely careful when removing and refitting the engine or transmission. Serious injury can result from careless actions. Then, removing the engine or refitting the engine is an important process. The factory recommends removing the engine and transmission from top as a unit, then separating the engine from the transmission of the work floor. If the transmission is not being serviced, it is possible to leave the transmission in the vehicle and remove the engine from the top by itself. By removing crankshaft pulley and tilting up the timing belt or chain end of the engine for clearance. Inflate any time the battery is connected to prevent accidental deployment and possible injury. Turn the ignition key to lock and disconnect the negative battery cable whenever working near airbag components. After the battery is disconnected, wait at least 2 minutes before beginning work. The system has a backup capacitor that must fully be discharged. For more information, you have to relieve the system pressure on diesel cover and connection with cloth and undo them. Remove the battery as before. Remove the bonnet. Remove inlet and exhaust manifold. Remove the drive shaft. On automatic transmission equipped models, pry out the plastic torque converter dust shield from the lower bell housing. Remove the torque converter to drive plate fasteners. Push converter back slightly into the bell housing. Remove the engine to transmission bolt and separate the engine from the transmission.